Second.
Second by Kurt Sherman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next item is approval of minutes from our meeting on March 18th. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, second by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak on something that is not on the agenda? One more time, is there anybody in the audience or online that wishes to speak on something that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move to public hearings. Public hearing number one is Folsom, formerly known as Aggregate. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dave, second by Brad to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. Take it away, Matt.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a reminder to everyone to make sure your mics are on for the recording and YouTube. Thank you. So the applicant is seeking an interim use permit to continue operation of a gravel mine on parcel ID 11.018.0260 and part of the fractional west half of the west half, section 18, township 141, range 44, Gooseberry Township. So this is located about 4 miles north of CASA 26. It's on the east side of CASA 33, just before Felton Creek. Current uses on the property are cropland and gravel mining. They were granted a conditional use permit for a 30-acre mine in 2010. And so they're seeking a 39-acre interim use permit, essentially to expand that existing mine from 30 acres to 39 acres. They have been granted a variance to mine into the north property line setback at the Board of Adjustment meeting prior to this meeting. They also have variances to mine the east property line setback and then the CASA 33 road right-of-way setback. So on this parcel, pretty low topographic relief, depth to water table is about 42 feet, so I think there's any mining that's going to be happening into the water table. Property is prime farmland, but would be turned to an agricultural use post-mining. Gravel potential ranges from high to limited, and there aren't any wetlands, according to the National Wetland Inventory, in the mining area. So the plan is to essentially square up the existing footprint, only opening up about 9 acres, stripping and stockpiling topsoil, and then processing the material and then hauling it south on CASA 33 to CASA 26. That'd be the primary haul route. And then for reclamation, they'd be looking to slope into the interior to prevent runoff from exiting the property, and also looking to kind of match the grades up on this east side with the mine here, and then on the north side with the mine just to the north here. Would be return to ag use. The estimated cost of reclamation would be $2,500 an acre. Just some considerations for this request, because the 30-acre portion of the mine has a conditional use permit. It's my recommendation that the interim use permit conditions match the conditional use permit to the extent practical, just because the granting of an interim use permit does not revoke a conditional use permit. A conditional use permit is a land right, so it runs with the land. We do no longer grant conditional use permits for gravel mining operations, which is hence the need to come for an interim use permit for this request. And then the operator would need to adhere to any of the Goose Prairie Township permit conditions as well. And we did receive comments from Gooseberry Township, don't have an issue with the request, other than that they'll work with the operator regarding Saturday hauling, and no other public comment was received. So for these conditions, I'll start with the first 8. The big difference being that this would have an expiration date, 10 years. CUPs, conditional use permits, don't have expiration dates. The other change would be to propose 39 acres as opposed to the 30, and then also a reclamation bond for those 39 acres. And we should probably, or you as should consider adding that at $2,500 per acre to that. The only other change from the conditional use permit would be just clarifying what a noise producing operation is. Crushing, screening, and washing essentially would be a noise producing operation. And so these are essentially the same conditions as what's on their current conditional use permit. I know there's been we put more consistency on hours of operation with interim use permits, and typically that being 7 to 7. In this case, that would be probably pretty tricky to enforce because they already have a permit that allows them to go from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., so it'd be hard to deviate from that. Be tricky to enforce those hours. Any questions for me at all? I'll just say we haven't had any complaints at all since I've been here out of this pit.
Thank you, Matt. Would the applicant care to come up and introduce yourself and speak to the project, please?
Hi, my name is Cherie Eilertson. I'm the Environment and Land Manager out of the Moorhead office here for Wholesome. I have here with me tonight Chris Forrest, our Operations Manager for the Aggregate Division, and also Nicole Ramich in the Environmental Department. So just want to thank you all for your time tonight listening and for your explanation, Matt. So we're welcome to answer any questions anyone has.
Hearing none, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak for or against?
I'm Shelley Steigen. I am supervisor for Gooseberry Township. We've met with the company. They met with us as a board on Tuesday. We went over our ordinance. We've never had a problem with aggregate, so we're expecting 0 problems. And basically, we see it as just a cleanup to finish off that chunk of ground. So we have no problems with it.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for her regarding township? Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak for or against this project?
Karen Lauer. I'm with the, I'm with another public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyone in the, else in the audience wish to speak for or against? One last time, anyone in the audience wish to speak for or against this permit? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
A motion.
Second.
Motion by Josh, second by Kurt Shervin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. Thank you, everyone. Now it's time for the findings of fact. Effective use. In granting an interim use permit, the Planning Commission shall consider the effect of the proposed use upon the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of occupants of surrounding lands, existing and anticipated land uses, traffic conditions including parking facilities on adjacent streets and land, and the effect on agricultural usage and values of property and scenic views in the surrounding areas, and the effect of proposed use on existing comprehensive plans. Use and enjoyment of other property. The interim use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, and not substantially diminish or impair property values within the immediate vicinity. Development of surrounding property. The establishment of the interim use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant in the area. Utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces. Nuisance conditions. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. Burden on public services. The use will not create an excessive burden on parks, schools, streets, water supply, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers, and other public facilities or utilities which serve or are proposed to serve the area. Compatibility. The use will be sufficiently compatible or separated by distance or screening from adjacent agriculturally zoned or used land so that existing homes will not be depreciated in value and there will be no deterrence to agricultural use of said land. Appearance of structure and site. The structure and site shall have an appearance that will not have an adverse effect upon adjacent residential properties. Relationship to overall needs. The use is, in the opinion of the Planning Commission, reasonably related to the overall needs of the district and to the existing land use. In the case of floodplain areas, the proof that the location is necessary for facility operation and that alternative sites not susceptible to flooding are not available. Consistency with ordinance. The use is consistent with the purposes of this ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Conflict with comprehensive plans. The use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan, if any, of the township, city, or county. Traffic hazards, congestion in the floodplain areas. The use will not cause traffic hazard, congestion in floodplain areas as access during flooding for ordinary and emergency vehicles. Existing businesses. Existing businesses nearby will not be adversely affected because of curtailment of customer trade brought about by the intrusion of noise, glare, or general unsightliness. Okay. Anybody have any comments or corrections to the conditions that staff has provided for us? I do recommend that we do to 10 what you just did to
Okay.
match the cup. So,
And, Mr. Chair, just thoughts about the reclamation bond specifying the amount, or?
$2,500 an acre.
Is that a typical amount for other operations?
Yeah, I would say it's typical, ranges from 1,000 to 4,000 typically.
Yeah, I would say so.
Hearing no other comments or questions, look for a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make that motion to approve with the conditions 1 through 13.
I'll second.
Motion been made by Kurt Stubbsed and seconded by Ashley. Any further discussion?
Sure.
Hearing, yes?
Don't we typically ask the applicants if they're fine with,
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chair, I would ask if the applicants are, because this is an interim use permit, if they're agreeable to the conditions 1 through 13. Yep. Thanks.
Yes, and they are. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Interim use is granted. Okay. Next, thank you. Next order of business is a request for an after-the-fact conditional use permit for Sarah and Robert Edwards. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Laura, seconded by Sebastian to open the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now open. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, this is a request for an after-the-fact conditional use permit for agricultural service establishment, an equestrian center. And so they're seeking a CUP to continue the operation of the Red River Equestrian Center. It's been in operation since 2017. They provide individual group riding lessons, camps, birthday parties, and equine-assisted psychotherapy to riders of all ages. They also provide indoor and outdoor boarding services. Not sure how many are boarded at any given time at the property. One thing too I should note is before this, I believe this was a nonprofit equestrian center. So they're located at the southwest 10 acres of the southwest quarter. They're right on the corner of 50th Street North and 120th Avenue North. It appears that uses on the property are located outside the extents of the property lines. I don't believe that this is just looking at historic records and historic imagery. It seems like that's been the case on this property for at least 30 years. And so the applicant purchased this property in 2017. But it looks like this has been an ongoing thing for several years. And so, not going to run through all the standards for an ag service establishment. This one does meet all of the standards. We haven't received any comment from Morgan Township or the public on this, but because there is an established history of the use of the property outside that legally described boundaries, the applicant landowner should probably work with the adjacent landowner if they haven't already to rectify any and all property line discrepancies. We're Clay County, we don't get into, we're not responsible for any property line ambiguities or anything like that. But if this is granted, the use permit would apply to only that property that's legally described and identified by that parcel. In our comprehensive and transportation plan, the goals and objectives that relate to this request is we have a goal category of community and resilience to promote personal and community health for all residents. Thinking here is that Red River Equestrian Center provides horse boarding and offers individual lessons, birthday parties and camps, and the horses are also used for mental well-being and therapeutic purposes. We have a goal to encourage commercial and industrial development that is in harmony with the ag and rural character of Clay County and to avoid or mitigate against commercial or industrial development that increases the potential for land use conflicts with rural residential or ag uses. They've been in operation since 2017, and prior to its establishment, the property was used by a nonprofit for equestrian activities. We have not received any complaints about the operation of this center. Any questions for me at all?
So it is not currently a nonprofit? And you said that
It was a different prior it was a nonprofit that
still
operated.
is a
out there.
nonprofit.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Is
I do not, I'll let the applicant answer that.
Okay.
Yep.
Sharon, Matt, I'm a little confused on the legal property lines and what they've been using. We don't get involved with legal amount, but what we're going to approve is only allowed on the legal description, right?
Yes.
So what happens when they're using, does it matter that you're using, if they get it all figured out, I guess it's fine, but what happens if they just continue as it has been?
Yeah, I think that would be essentially what's the word I'm looking for? Civil, it'd have to play out civilly. There would have to be a civil process to that. And if the property lines were to change and encompass the entire area that's being used, then this permit would still stand with that. But it's kind of one of those, it's an interesting thing where just if you look back at all the historic aerial imagery, it's been like this since at least the 80s.
Okay.
And I mean, some of the trees on there, you can see they're old, so.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Matt? Hearing none, would the applicant care to come up and speak? Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Robert Edwards here. Me and my wife live at the property and run the horse facility at the site. I'm here to answer questions if they come up.
Okay, are you a for-profit or nonprofit currently?
Any extra dollars that do come into the property basically just go into maintenance and repairs of the property. So it's not actually paying bills, but it is doing repairs and maintenance.
Okay, so are you a legal
Is it-
Minnesota nonprofit, a 401c3 or 3C or whatever it is?
The accountant takes, I don't think it's registered as a non-for-profit, but the accountant has to put in profit and losses.
Okay, I don't know if that makes any difference.
I,
Special rules for a nonprofit, as far as we're concerned anyway, with
No,
this.
Mr. Chair, that's correct. There aren't any, yep.
Okay. Okay, how many horses do you normally run, average?
average is probably around 26 on the property at a time. So it's gone as high as 31 and as low as 20.
So 12, I think it said you have 12, so you have half in and half out?
Indoor, outdoor?
Yes.
Most of them are outdoor. We do have indoor corrals or stalls. They're not used very often, other than for feeding, and then the horses typically go back outside.
Okay, what do you do, what's your manure management?
In the spring, it's piled up in the individual corrals, and then throughout the summer, it is moved to a composting area, which is behind the silver Quonset. It's on a concrete pad, and it composts there for summer, and usually I create 2 separate piles, and then the following year, it is spread either by individuals who choose to come get it on their own will, or we spread some on the property, or it goes to a farmer's field if they will allow it.
Okay, that was all I had for Mr. Edwards. Anybody else? I just have another question. Is there a limit with 10 acres? Are they okay with the animal units on 10 acres?
For a ag service establishment, yeah, they would meet our requirements for that.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else in the audience wish to speak for or against this permit? Anyone else in the audience or online wish to speak for or against? Anyone in the audience or online wish to speak for or against? Hearing none, I look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Ashley, seconded by Laura to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Now for the fun part. Findings of fact, effective use. In granting a conditional use permit, the planning commission shall consider the effect of the proposed use upon the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of occupants of surrounding lands, existing and anticipated land uses, traffic conditions including parking facilities on adjacent streets and land, and the effect on agricultural usage and values of property and scenic views in the surrounding areas, and the effect of the proposed use on existing comprehensive plans. Use and enjoyment of other property. The use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, and not substantially diminish or impair property values within the immediate vicinity. Development of surrounding property. The establishment of the use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant in the area. Utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, and off-street parking and loading spaces. Nuisance conditions. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to the neighboring properties will result. The use will not create an excessive burden on parks, schools, streets, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, and other public facilities or utilities which serve or are proposed to serve the area. Compatibility. The use will be sufficiently compatible or separated by distance or screening from adjacent agriculturally zoned or used land so that existing homes will not be depreciated in value and there will be no deterrence to agricultural use of said land. Appearance of structure and site. The structure and site shall have an appearance that will not have adverse effect upon adjacent residential properties. The appearance of relationship to overall needs. The use is, in the opinion of the Planning Commission, reasonably related to the overall needs of the district and to the existing land use. In the case of floodplain areas, the proof that the location is necessary for facility operation and that alternative sites not susceptible to flooding are not available. Consistency with ordinance. The use is consistent with the purposes of this ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. Conflict with comprehensive plans. The use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan, if any, of the township, city, or county. Traffic hazards, congestion in the floodplain area. The use will not cause traffic hazards, condition, or congestion in floodplain areas as access during flooding for ordinary and emergency vehicles. Existing businesses. Existing businesses nearby will not be adversely affected because of the curtailment of customer trade brought about by intrusion of noise, glare, or general unsightliness. Okay, Matt and And staff have conditions 1 through 4. Anybody have any comments or changes, or Dave?
Mr. Chair and Matt, you said there's no nuisance complaints since it's been operating, but has there been any comment for this public hearing that you received?
Mr. Chair and Mr. Steichen, there's not been any comment. Yep.
And then the fourth condition of the signage, are they meeting the signage standards as of now?
That I am not sure of. I'd have to check on that.
They'll be aware of the
Yep.
standards, correct? That's it.
Mr. Chair, just one thought to consider too, since you mentioned manure management, if you want to address that as a condition at all. Or if anyone.
What he's doing is, what they're currently doing is the right way to do it. They're taking it away from the buildings and doing it on with a slab, and say there are places out there that just keep making the mountain bigger.
Does that fall under number 1 at all, or is that more related to underground water and sewer systems? The manure situation?
That would be, Mr. Chair and Mr. Steichen, more related to, it's typically addressed as like a separate condition. That the condition that we see in an oversight on my part might be, your condition might say too that the applicant must provide a manure management plan to the planning office, essentially.
Okay, and I think that I would like to have a condition 5, something which states what they are currently are doing, and that they need to keep up with that.
A plan, would that follow best practices sort of a situation?
Yep.
I think it'd be important to have.
Yeah, we would receive the plan and then confer with like our county feedlot officer, and just to basically get his or her blessing on it, so.
Because I believe there is a ordinance or something in the county code that it can't be piled for more than a year.
We have, for feedlots, we have
Okay.
rules, but this is a little different situation.
AUs are small enough
Yep.
that it.
That
Yep.
sound good?
Okay, hearing no other comments or questions, look for a motion to approve or deny the conditional use permit with conditions 1 through 5.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, seconded by Brad to approve the conditional use permit.
Mr. Chair, is
Yes,
the applicant fine with that?
This is a conditional use permit, so a little different. Don't have to ask that for a conditional use permit, yep.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Permit is granted. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Severson is looking to rezone. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing?
Motion by Josh, seconded by Laura to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Lead the way, Matt.
All right, so the applicant is petitioning to rezone a property at 14566 130th Street South, Barnesville, Minnesota 56514, parcel ID 02.017.0301, part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, section 17, township 137, range 46 west, Barnesville Township, from agricultural general to highway commercial. Might be best to here. So this is way in the southern part of the county, southeast of Baker, and then south of Highway 52. It's on the east side of County State Aid Highway 21. The zoning district right now is just agricultural general, and the request is to rezone from ag general to highway commercial. Some information about the property. The current land use is industrial/residential. That's essentially its tax classification. Residence right here, industrial right here. There's about just under 20,000 square feet of industrial buildings and one residence, no wetlands on the property. And so the highway commercial standards, meeting the minimum lot size, yard requirements, front yard regulations, rear yard depth would meet all of those requirements. So the business has started it started as a cabinet business, then there was permitted as a home occupation. They're up to about 31 employees. They have plans for future expansion. And then the owner also intends to move the residents from the property. So this is a case of a business that has gotten very, very successful and experienced a lot of growth. Business Country Classic Cabinets, they make cabinets and other woodworking type things. So it's basically outgrown the home occupation, where it's almost like the residence is now the accessory use on the property and the business is the principal use. And I think Mr. Severson, recognizing that, is looking to move his residence off the property and just maintain that as the site of his business. We haven't received any comment from the township. We did receive a comment from the Barnesville Economic Development Authority Executive Director, Karen Lauer, and she was in support of this rezoning. How this relates to our comprehensive plan, we do have a goal to encourage commercial industrial development that is in harmony with the ag and rural character of Clay County. The business, it did start as a home occupation, and the buildings do resemble other agricultural structures in the area. We have an objective to promote value-added ag, commercial, and industrial development in ag service center areas and along transportation corridors and hubs. This is not a well-traveled highway compared to other state aid highways in the county, but this is a business that would add value along a transportation corridor. And then we have an objective to avoid or mitigate against commercial and industrial development that increases potential for land use conflicts with rural residential and ag uses. And so there are 2 residential properties within half mile in either direction of this rezoning, and many of the adjacent nearby properties are agricultural. So, and I can actually bring this up to so. So yeah, this is essentially the property where we propose that rezoning. Any questions for me at all?
Mr. Chair and Matt. The part that you got boarded off there, that's the only parcel we're talking about for industrial slash business?
Yep, it would just be this.
Now, refresh my memory on, because spot zoning isn't allowed per se. Would this be considered spot zoning?
It's a good question. In my
Unless you got the
opinion,
whole, like we did on north side of Dilworth there, that
Sure.
To light and highway commercial, but that's just not just the two lots they were dealing with that particular day.
Yep.
It's a big area. This is just dealing with one location.
Yeah, I would say that this would not be considered spot zoning because it would match with the goals and objectives of our comprehensive plan. Now, if this was on like a minimum maintenance road somewhere, or even a gravel road, would not recommend rezoning to highway commercial if it doesn't have the infrastructure to support it. But because we have an objective in our comprehensive plan that says we want to promote commercial and industrial development along transportation corridors and hubs in the county, I think this would meet that essentially.
What would be the advantage changing it to this or getting a variance for what they want to accomplish?
Because you would not be able to get a variance to a use, essentially. So the intention is to move the residence off of the property. And once the residence is off, you can't have a home occupation anymore because there's no home. So this would have to be basically, for this business to continue, it would have to be rezoned to a commercial zoning district.
Obviously, you've thought about it, but, so you're comfortable, I'd say, spot zoning this piece of property?
Yeah, and again, with spot zoning, it can be pretty fuzzy and very, now, if there was like a residential subdivisions completely surrounding this property and you were looking to rezone it from like residential to commercial, that you might have a stronger case for spot zoning. But in this instance, no, I don't think that this would fall under that category. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair. Thank you. Sorry, I'm late, but I had another meeting. But in regards to, I mean, I know we don't talk about grandfathering in, but usually a spot zoning happens kind of on the beginning end of something, not with an existing business that has been there for
Yeah,
decades, correct?
that's correct, yep.
Thank you. Anyone have anything further for Matt? Hearing nothing, would the applicant care to come up? Please state your name for the record and speak your piece.
I'm Derek Severson. I own and operate Country Classic Cabinets. Yeah, we're just looking to keep expanding. The big reason that this came up is I'm unable to build any more buildings currently where I'm at, and we are looking to keep expanding little by little as we can. And it's getting to be tough to live where 31 people come to your house every day, so, but.
Okay, so you're intending on literally moving the house then?
Yes, yep. So I do work with a home mover who would come and move the house. Yep.
How many you looking at increasing from your current 31 employees to?
Yeah, so I purchased this company it's been at this location since 1990. It's been a business in Clay County since '87. I bought it in 2014, and at that time we had 2 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees. So we've steadily grown. I don't think it's going to slow down. So, I mean, I don't have a dream of having 100 employees, but.
Well, thank you for providing good jobs in a non-metro area. Anybody else have questions for Derek? Thank you. Anyone in the audience or online wish to speak for or against?
Karen Lauer.
Good evening. I'm Karen Lauer. I'm the Executive Director of the Barnesville Economic Development Authority. Our Economic Development Authority works to support business development in the Barnesville School District. So Mr. Severson's property is within that district area. And as such, I'm here in full support of what Mr. Severson is asking of the commission. I had the pleasure of working with the original owner of Country Classic Cabinets, who was also a hard worker. Since we were able to transition from that ownership to Mr. Severson's ownership, there has been extensive growth. This is true economic development, because what Country Classic Cabinets is doing is bringing revenue into the county from areas outside of Clay County, and that is the definition of economic development. Our Economic Board of Directors has a very robust business retention and expansion project, and as such, we support businesses in the Barnesville School District, helping them to expand and retain their employees. We're very fortunate to have Country Classic Cabinets as one of the largest employers in the Barnesville School District. They bring not only employees to their place of business, but they bring with them children, supporting our school district and keeping our community strong and vibrant. The reinvestment of dollars in expanding the business not only creates a revenue stream for Clay County, but supports other businesses within the county as well. So on behalf of the Barnesville Economic Development Board of Directors, we would respectfully ask that the Planning Commission consider Mr. Severson's request for rezoning. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Karen? Anybody else in the audience? Please come forward and state your name, please.
Chuck Anderson, Supervisor for Barnesville Township. We're supporting Derek on this issue, so as far as the township's for it, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else in the audience or online wish to speak for or against? Anyone else in the audience or online wish to speak for or against? Anyone else in the audience or online wish to speak for or against? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
By Ashley, seconded by Kurt Shervin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Effective use. In granting a zoning district amendment, the Planning Commission shall consider the effect of the proposed use upon the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of occupants of surrounding lands, existing and anticipated land uses, traffic conditions, including parking facilities on adjacent streets and land, and the effect on agricultural usage and values of property and scenic view in the surrounding areas, and the effect of the proposed use on existing comprehensive plans. Burden on public utilities. The development authorized by the rezoning will not create an excessive burden on any public facilities or utilities which serve or are proposed to serve the area. Related to overall needs. The rezoning is reasonably related to the overall needs of the county and to the existing land use. Consistency with ordinance. The rezoning is consistent with the purposes of this ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant seeks classification. Conflict with the comprehensive plan. The rezoning is not in conflict with the comprehensive plans of any township, city, county, or county land use plan. Prematurely stimulate public investment in utilities. The rezoning will will not either individually or cumulatively stimulate premature public investment in the facilities and utilities described in subsection D.2.A of this section. Anybody have any comments or things to add? Josh is smiling over there.
I was in a leadership development program in Barnesville about a year ago, and we toured the facilities at the time. He's got a really intentional expansion plan. You were working on a building at the time, I believe, to connect your buildings. It was a little bit crowded with residents and 30 of us coming and parking there for the tour of the facilities, but I believe the facility is in keeping with the character of the area, and I think rezoning does make sense for what their plan is.
Okay, but, I mean, we've got Barnesville Township, we've got other officials here and that are 100% behind this.
So, Mr. Chair, if there aren't any other comments or questions from the other planning commissioners, do you just want to go through one recommendation that staff would recommend approving this request? One little thing would be, just because there is a residence on the property and residential uses aren't permitted in the highway commercial zoning district, the recommendation would be that the rezoning wouldn't happen until the residence is removed. So even though you approve it, it wouldn't be approved non-adoption, it'd be basically approved when that residence is removed from the property. And so,
Is this a situation where we would recommend this for approval and the
yes,
commissioners would do the literal?
yes.
Okay, that,
I do have a recommended motion, but my computer froze. Let's try this again.
and there it is. Move to,
I'll make that motion to recommend the approval of rezoning subject property from agriculture general to highway commercial upon removal of the residents to the Clay County Board of Commissioners.
I'll second that.
by Kurt Stubstead,
I'll second that.
and a second by Jenny. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Okay, thank you, everyone. Next thing on the list is public hearing. And hopefully our final one for this board of the Clay County Land Development Subdivision Ordinance. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Laura, seconded by Ashley to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is open. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yes, this is hopefully the final public hearing. Ordinance update for the Planning Commission. I know we've had quite a few, going all the way back to August of 2023. And I know that the intention was to go through this process at our last meeting. Just got some couple things that needed to be addressed beforehand, so I do want to give you an update on those and where those are at. So just to start off, there's kind of three big things. One is the substantial part of our ordinance update pertained to the shoreland section of the ordinance. And so as part of that, the DNR needs to provide approval of the updates that were made and our shoreland ordinance. We did on Friday get our conditional approval letter for the shoreland section of the ordinance. mainly two things that we have to change that are missing that we have to just add in that are in the state rules. Also, the Chapter 6, the subdivision regulations and the administration and procedures chapters, they were revised based on both a review of the Clay County attorney and then our outside legal counsel who provided some review of those two chapters. And then the final thing would be that the state cannabis rules, they were approved by an administrative law judge last week, and then they were just published in the state registrar yesterday. And so I've had a chance to kind of look at they haven't changed much since the draft rules were originally proposed, I think back in January. But before we go through, I do want to, between now and when the Board of Commissioners hear this, would like to just look at our cannabis section of the ordinance one more time and make sure there aren't any surprises with the rules that were just published. And so the next steps would be to recommend to the county board for enactment, and then just cleaning up, doing any formatting and copy editing to it as needed, not making any substantial changes, just making sure it reads well. There aren't any weird gaps or spaces anywhere or anything fun like that. Did anyone? I just want to also take the opportunity for if anyone has any final comments or questions or points of clarification or concerns at all about what has been drafted. Take that as a good sign. So, okay. Well, I just want to really thank you all for your review of this and all of your work, and to thank our study review committee for all their work on this and those who served on this, and then staff as well. It's been a 2-year process to this month, essentially, but it was quite a major overhaul of a very lengthy ordinance, and a lot of things to update. And I think I'd stand by kind of this update, and I think that it will serve the county well moving forward.
Okay.
I don't know if there's we didn't receive any public comments for this as well. I think we just need to close the public hearing and then, yep.
Anybody else have any more questions or comments to the process or to Matt? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Brad.
Is the microphone?
It's green. Who seconded?
Aye.
And second by Laura. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. So, our next order of business is to send this to the county commissioners. Who would like the honors?
I can do that. I'll move to recommend the enactment of the Clay County Land Development and Subdivision Ordinance to the Clay County Board of Commissioners.
Motion by Ashley,
Second.
second by Dave Steichen. All those any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to the commissioners. Yay, Jenny. Next, update of planning and zoning violations. Anything to speak to?
Looking at extractive use permit condition violations, currently have 11 out there that we're working on. Most of them relates to setbacks. Setbacks or needing to update state permit permits. Those are kind of the two big ones. So, you know, of the 70-plus active pits we have, it's sitting pretty good for this time of year. And just 2 home occupation use permits that will need to be resolved here. So you will probably see those coming before you in the coming months.
Thank you. Anybody else, any questions for Matt regarding? Okay,
One thing that the Board of Commissioners did request of me is to just poll some of my neighboring counties, just to see kind of what their violations levels are, just so we can have some comparative data. And I've reached out to a couple and just looking to get more information for mainly surrounding counties, but then also counties that would be similar in size to us as well. So hopefully we'll have that. I can bring that to you as well when I have all that information compiled.
okay, thank you.
The general consensus has been that it's, there's been an increase in the past 3 years, kind of across the board.
Well, and we've been forced to take some actions here on several operators ourselves, so. Okay, well, hopefully we can get things resolved before permits get taken away.
Mr. Chair and Matt, do you feel that's common among the other counties that you're going to talk to, the increase, or are you going to find that out?
That's the general consensus that I've received back from when I've originally reached out.
Do you have any explanation on why that is the case?
I don't, no.
Just curious. I mean, everybody's got a story.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business.
No unfinished business, Mr. Chair.
How about new and exciting business?
Nothing new and exciting to report, unless anyone else has anything.
Well, I'd like to officially welcome Josh to our board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Nice to have you. Anyone have anything else they feel drawn to bring up? Okay. Hearing nothing, look for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Kurt Shervin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.